Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Afia Salam show. And just a little while ago, you were listening to Mr. Nasir Panhwar of WWF tell us about the Indus for All program. And now I have with me Mr. Nawaz, who is also associated with this program. So welcome to the Afia Salam show.
Thank you.
And first of all, could you tell us what brought you to Pakistan and how did you become associated with this program?
Well, I came to Pakistan about 17 years ago, and I was actually chasing pheasants. I was chasing a particular pheasant which is only found in the Western Himalayas, and in fact the largest population of this tragapan, of this bird, which is called the Western tragapan, is found in one valley in Khorstan in KPK, and I literally chased this pheasant starting in India, and I worked my way across to Pakistan to find this pheasant, and I found it back I think in 94, 95, and I stayed here.
You stayed here. That pheasant is the reason that
we
have you. So
okay,
we have the pheasant to thank for Mr. Nawaz's presence. You were not associated with WWF at that time.
I wasn't. I was associated with a organisation called World Pheasant Association, being a pheasant, but they had close links. So I always had a kind of a foot in the door with WWF.
Okay.
And after conducting my research in the northern areas in '98, I was ready to pack up and go home, and WWF just asked me, do you like Pakistan? And I said yes, and they said, do you want to stay? I said yes. I said, well, here's a job.
Fantastic. So I think they were one of the few people who gave that answer in the affirmative. Although I really wish people would come and take a look at Pakistan, and it isn't really kind of a place that you would just want to bypass.
Yeah.
And what about this Indus for All program? Could you just give us a small background of it, why this was initiated?
Well, the Indus for program is basically an eco-region program. The eco-region approach was kind of formulated back in the late 90s, where a lot of the large conservation organizations looked at their work and decided that a site-based approach or a species-based approach doesn't work because it's too confined, it's too specialized, you can't bring sustainability, so you have to look at landscape levels. Landscape meant eco-regions.
And then it meant people, so it's more holistic.
It is. I mean, there are four kind of principles. One, it's a long-term vision. You can't talk about 5 years or 10 years. It's a minimum 50-year vision. Secondly, you have to encompass all of the biodiversity. Thirdly, is the people. It's integrating environment and development. It's not anti-development. It has to incorporate. And the fourth principle, it has to involve everybody. You can't just say it's a wildlife department or environment department or WWF. It has to be
multi-stakeholder.
Yeah, it has to be everybody. So we have 5 eco-regions in Pakistan, but the Indus is the only one which is actually within the boundaries of the country. The other 4 are shared with India, with Afghanistan, with China, and you can imagine the kind of problems.
There are transboundary issues. With almost all the countries.
Yeah. So we decided to go for this Indus eco-region, I mean the first kind of eco-region approach. Out of the 240, we're the top 40 in terms of priority, in terms of conservation value. And I was really just kind of not winding up, but I was looking around. I'd been working in this valley with this tragapan for about 10 years plus. And this eco-region program came up, and I decided to kind of shift down to Karachi. I was sitting on the Indus at the clean part up in the northern areas, and I came down to Karachi. So you can really see the difference.
You traverse the Indus.
Yes, yeah, you see the difference that there people don't take water for granted. Well, they do take it for granted, but it's very clean. I didn't drink bottled water ever. When you come down here, you see the real kind of upstream, downstream problems. So and they can't ignore it. The people upstream really have to realize.
They need to be made aware of. Actually, that's the problem. I mean, we say we can't ignore it, but they ignore it not just out of a willful, political agenda, but because many times they're not even aware of it. Yes,
it's an alien concept, and that water is an issue because they have millions of acoustics that's running past their house each day. So they don't need to worry about it.
So in this Indus for All program, you're saying it was a multi-stakeholder approach. So now it's been 4 years?
Yeah.
And this program is going to end?
Well, the first phase starts end of this year, 2012.
Okay, so do you see how much of a difference has been made? What was it like when you started? So what was the starting point, and where do you stand now?
I think, the changes in attitude. People's attitudes have certainly change in terms of how to look at the environment. We work with every level, so starting from community, working up to even up to the Prime Minister and President. So attitudes have changed.
So what do you mean when you say people's attitude? Which people, at which level?
Yeah, if you look at, for example, if you look at the DCO, look at well, now they're the DC, but even back then they were very much kind of had a very blanket approach to environment, what it meant. They didn't see the community playing a large role in it. And after working with us, or us working with them, and getting their staff involved, they really realised that the only way to solve environmental issues is actually tackle poverty kind of issues. Poverty and environment nexus, the link is very strong.
So now they realize that there is this link.
Yeah, and they do realize that it does make a difference if a truck is washing being washed in Kinjalay,
Right.
people are dumping stuff. They realized, they took action, but we've still got a long way to go. 4 years, I have a 50-year vision. We've set milestones and we're getting towards them, but it is going to take a long time. You've got the awareness, you've got some willingness now of the government, of the people, but now you've got to come up with solutions. See, our next step will be really taking up the water issue. We're really looking at the downstream e-flows, environmental flows, and the need of the Indus River and all of its kind of ecological habitats. So we've done some work. We've now kind of primed the government, the people. This is what we're going to need. The next phase is going to really have to look at actually trying to get to agree on a figure. Especially if you're talking downstream Kotri for the delta, agreeing on a figure.
But there has been a sort of an agreed figure of 35 MAF.
Well, it depends who you ask. That's a problem. It's not an agreed figure.
The people who say yes, we have released it. The people who are on the receiving end, they say no, it hasn't.
Exactly. The people, even if you go to ISA, they will say we release 10 MAF every year, which is not true. And of course, 2010 they said it, and it was true, because it's not just water. It's the quality, and it's when. You can't release 10 MAF in 2 days. It's not going to work.
So that is actually what has been happening.
In some places,
the water
yes.
hasn't really come at the time when it is needed.
No, it hasn't come at all.
So
actually,
on paper, when somebody is, when these conflicts come up, and they say, no, we have released it. So that's right, they have released it, but it hasn't really benefited.
No, because it's over 7 days or 15 days. So that now we have to really work with. That's a very tricky and political task. But
it is a political task. Basically.
Yeah, but I think we've got got good reputation, at least in Sindh and Punjab and frontier. So now we're a step closer to trying to get people to sit down at one table and agree the figure and actually try to demonstrate environmental flows, how they can be achieved, and what are the benefits. So when people actually see the benefit of e-flows working properly, we hope then it'll spread up the Indus.
And it's not just the benefit. It's the benefit not just to the people; it's to the entire.
Well, yes, e-flows is environmental flow. So it's the basic thing is the environmental need. The environmental need will automatically feed the kind of development and kind of the needs of the people
and everything.
Yeah.
It's almost like a domino effect.
Yeah.
And this is why I wanted you to be on this forum. This is Speak for Change, and here we want the people of Pakistan, the youth of Pakistan, which is basically our audience, to get involved. And how do you think, because you say everybody, this is a multi-stakeholder project. How do you think the people of Pakistan or the youth of Pakistan, especially in this eco-region, can help out? How can they become partners in taking this agenda forward?
I think, there's a couple of ways which I see. One is, we got to practice what we preach.
Right.
And that means when you talk about water conservation, you do it in your home. You start at home, then you go out. We do waste a lot of water. I have this inherent reaction when I see a dripping tap, and you see it everywhere. And you see burst water mains. You see in people's houses, and it's just
the tap won't close.
Yeah, it's just a 15 rupee kind of nolka. I think you got to start at home and try to reduce your water consumption. We're going to have to change our lifestyles. We can look at commodities which are not heavy in water. We can, for example, I think one of the main things which you can do is actually everyone wears cotton. Now, one of our big programs in southern Punjab and north of Sindh is the Better Cotton Initiative. And Better Cotton Initiative is actually certified cotton,
right,
which is accepted worldwide. Now, this is actually, when you've been talking about kind of there's a portrayal of all bad things in Pakistan. Across the world, Pakistan in 2010 was actually the first country in the world to actually produce and certify better cotton.
Okay.
So now when you go to IKEA, you go to Marks and Sparks, when you go to Levi's, you go to Walmart, the cotton you're buying is actually, it's cotton which is it's grown with less water, less fertilizer, less pesticides, and it has a decent work concept, which means we make sure kids are not involved in
So
the
all the
picking.
labor laws are being informed.
Yeah, and the women actually have proper equipment to pick the cotton. So buy these. I mean, try to make sure you buy cotton. It doesn't mean you have to go and buy Levi's, but at least you buy the cotton which is better cotton. You know that you're buying into a conservation initiative.
Right.
And this is not WWF, this is a global initiative. We just facilitated it. That's the second one. Third one, I think, is there's a lot of engineers out there, a lot of students who really need to get into the field, who really have to come up with local solutions to local problems, and water is one of them. Sindh is becoming a water scarce province. We have to live with less water, and there has to be technologies out there, either for agriculture or for drinking water. If you go to places like Ketibanda, yes, these people are taking from the canal. It's dirty water, and that's a daily source of water. There must be ways of producing potable water to the community at an affordable cost.
At an affordable cost.
And you can't bring it. You can't bring it from USA, Germany, UK. It's too expensive.
And there's documented proof, and there's research that exists that the person in the rural areas actually pays more for the water than we here in the city.
I mean, they pay
drinking
hundreds.
water. We are not just saying, nobody else pays for water. There's the concept of paying for your environmental services hasn't really got on over here.
No,
yet.
no, it hasn't.
But yes, thank you very much for giving these 2-3 simple pointers that at least we can start from here. We can start water conservation, start looking for local solutions to local problems, and get involved with the organizations, get involved with the people who are doing something to make a difference. And like we say, speak for change. So then try to be that change, because that is the only thing that's going to help. You cannot only depend or rather sort of abdicate from your responsibility and say there's this organization and this will do something for us. No, we have to do something for us. So thank you very much, Nawaz, for giving these pointers to us and taking the time to come and talk to us. Thank you.
Thanks.